Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. In this video, we will be doing economics chapter 5, consumer rights. So, what do you understand by the term consumer and rights separately? Consumer is someone who consumes something. We are all consumers, right? We all consume something. We all, consume dairy products. We all consume grocery items. All consumes farming, produce that comes like grains, pulses. Similarly, we also consume TV shows. We are consumers of movies or TV entertainment, of radio, of songs, etc. That is, consumer is someone who consumes, okay, and consumes anything, and hence we consume goods or services which are provided by sellers to consumers, right? We are buyers, and the ones who are providing us with them are sellers. So this relationship between is the basis of economy. And as business generates money, generates GDP, everything we have already discussed throughout this book. In this particular chapter, we are basically dealing with consumer and their rights. Now, as we know, we are people who are consuming. We are consuming everything. So how do we protect us from manipulation of goods? Like sometimes आपने बहुत बार सुना होगा मिलावट हो रही है. This is not ethical, right? But we are consuming something and that is harmful to us. And the buyer is basically trying to sell off cheap things, cheap goods as luxurious premium items, and harming us with adding malicious substances in them. This is one case of exploitation that happens. Hence, our government has given us
पैक करवाने के लिए भी रखा है जो ये चीजें.
So moving on, as I told you that our government has provided us with some rights. So we'll be dealing with these rights in this chapter. You can here you can look at these clips which are telling about all the exploitation that consumers go through in our country. In the past, have gone through like panel cracks on cell spammers, 45,000 for fraud, phone bill, insurance fund to pay for theft. These things happen in the markets. The consumer in the marketplace. This is basically what I have given you the introduction of who are consumers and buyers and sellers, the basis of economy. All of this is talked about in this part, so I will not go so much in detail into this part. We'll just look at some cartoons and caricatures to understand what is going on. Here, what is the person saying? That they purposely made it so it would fall apart after a few months, so this that I will buy a new one. Hence we can see this is like the quality, the price and performance ratio is not ideal here. Basically they passed off as a cheap good, as good quality good, and after a few months it will require repairs, or you will need to buy a new one. Hence consuming more money from you and making repetitive customers of them for buying or repairing. Similarly, this one, everyone knows tobacco kills people, but who can say that tobacco's company should not be free to sell tobacco, right? Everyone knows you have seen those secret packs. They will have a written a very small print, tobacco is injurious to health. But people will not, the addicted smokers, they don't care about the health repercussions that smoking will bring them. Hence they still continue to consume it, and but once again it is a harmful good, right? Now we'll talk about, after all these exploitations consumer has faced in the past, consumer movement came into being, that consumers demanded more rights and protection from exploitation by the sellers. In India, the consumer movement as a social force originated with the necessity of protecting and promoting the interests of consumers against unethical and unfair trade practices. This is a technical definition of consumer movement in respect to India. Rampant food shortages, black marketing, adulteration, food and edible oil gave birth to the consumer movement in an organized form in the 1960s. Till 70s, consumer organizations were largely engaged in writing articles and holding exhibitions. They formed consumer groups, took into the malpractice in ration shops and overcrowding in the road passenger transport. More recently, India witnessed an upsurge in the number of consumer groups. So till this movement began in 1960s with rampant food shortages, hoarding, black marketing, and adulteration of food was what sparked this debate. And till 1970s, the consumer movement was at large, and recently it has grown because of some thing called e-commerce. Hence, with e-commerce and digital spams that are rampant in our society now with the digitalization of the world. So we need new rights, we need new movements to combat these practices specifically. You can read about this Consumers International, and this is the head office of consumer movement. Consumer rights, I'm sorry. Moving on, consumer rights. Safety is everyone's rights. This is a case study you can look into, which is taking account of malpractices in a private clinic. What happened there? Okay. So basically, it is the explanation of this case study is given in this part. It's just saying that people can be held accountable if they if they don't have like for example here they talk about doctor who does not have the skills and wrongly harms a patient, and that patient has suffered and become disabled due to his basically he's in wheelchair now because of his operation, and now he's demanding compensation. So this is basically that everyone has a right to safety, that if we consume a particular good from a buyer, be it a good or service, and if we are harmed due to that, we have right to safety and we can complain in the courts and demand compensation. But compensation always not is not basically has become disabled, right? So although the clinic will compensate, but it will not reverse the repercussions. That is a ethical question. Moving on, information about goods and services. That is, if a product contains something, like you have read ingredient list, every product, basic specifically food products have ingredient list and in all the information regarding them. So we have right to be informed what has gone into making a particular good, be it a shampoo, be it food that we consume, be it anything that we apply on our body and can seep into our body and maybe be harmful to our health. So we have right to be informed of those ingredients and make an informed decision. Moving on, right to choose when choice is denied. Okay, and waiting here, this is right to be informed and right to choose is here. You can read this case study. A right to choose is basically that we can choose not to buy or buy a specific product or buy from a product from a specific brand. No one brand or no one person can force us to buy his or her products only. Where should consumers go to get justice? We have right to seek redressal. Basically, that we can fight against all the injustice or all our rights that have been hampered and go to court. There is specific consumer courts basically that we can appeal by. Here is the process. This case study and caricatures are telling about the process which one has to go through to file a complaint. Moving on, learning to become well informed consumers. This is basically a conclusion type of learning that we are getting, that we should learn to be responsible consumers, that we should check ingredient list, know our rights, know how to appeal in courts if something happens to us or we think we have been exploited in terms of purchasing a good or service. We can redress, we can argue against, we can protest against the injustice. We have also ISI and EGMA, some like these two. There are other institutions in India basically which guarantees the safety of a product. Like we have so many products, electrical appliances, food, that our government checks and uses and basically certifies that this is very safe for us to consume. Taking the consumer movement forward, this is basically, we have been 24th December is a National Consumers Day. You can take a note of it. Basically, it's saying that with new products, new services entering into the market every year, and we are developing towards we are a developing country. We are getting new products, new services every year. So we should, be aware of how to judicially and, in a well informed way consume the products and services. And with that, the chapter has ended. It's a very easy chapter and very interesting and very important chapter that we should know about, that we are consumers. From the day we are born in this world, we are a consumer. Like we are born in a hospital, we are consuming a service, right? So we should know about our rights and how we can seek redressal if we are exploited, and be a well informed and powerful consumer. Thanking you. We'll meet again in the next video. Bye bye.